Should we all be wearing colored glasses? Should we all be wearing gloves?
I'm going to call this meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Can we have a moment of silence, please? Roll call, Andrew.
Council President Chamberlain.
Present.
Councilor Griggs.
Present.
Councilor Schneider.
Here.
Councilor Stickley.
Here.
Councilor Scott Stieretz.
Here.
We have 5 members present. We have a quorum.
Thank you. Council has had time to review the prior meeting's minutes. Do we have a motion to move?
I would make a motion to accept the minutes, please.
I'll second that.
Motion to approve the prior meeting's minutes moved by Councilor Stickley and seconded by Councilor Griggs. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, next on the agenda, we do have a public hearing tonight for the rezoning of parcel, you see the long lengthy number, which is at 604 and 606 South Shoup Avenue. The zoning is, request is from an R4 multifamily to a B4 mixed community use in order to allow for the construction of an addition to the existing structure. We need a motion to open this.
I would make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion to open this public hearing moved by Councilor Stickley and seconded by Councilor Schneider. Is there any discussion? Councilor Stickley?
Yes.
Councilor Schneider?
Yes.
Councilor Griggs?
Yes.
Councilor Scott Stieretz?
Yes.
Council President Chamberlain?
Yes.
5 yeas, 0 nays, motion carries.
Okay, with this public hearing, I see we do have a few people out there. If any of you have anything to say about the zoning for the public hearing, this is the time to speak up if you wish.
Well, I live at the condos, which set to the west of this parcel.
Okay, can you state your name? I know.
Oh, I'm sorry, Howard Warnke
Okay,
and my
thank you.
wife Judy.
All
We
right.
had gotten a letter about this, so.
Right.
I guess only thing I want to know is, maybe it's not in your position at this point, but what is the timetable on all this?
Well, first of all, we have to go through the hearings before we can allow it to happen. But as far as the timetable, I don't know, Kim, do you know anything about the timetable on this?
Good evening. My name's Kim Cupp. I'm with the Fulton County
Hi,
Health
Kim.
Department. So you may all be aware construction costs are continuously increasing
Yes.
over this time. So we really do not have a timetable established. And with the approval of the zoning being changed, our intention would be to get our engineered drawings completed and able to get a cost estimate that's firm in order to take a next step. So that's, could it be, a year to two? It just is not determined yet. So we're just, again, gathering information and taking one step at a time.
My other question was, what is the city's requirement as far as how close to the lot line?
The
Can-
variances?
Yes.
Yeah, the variances are, in fact, Howard, we do have them on here. Let's see, the setbacks is a 25-foot side setback, a 40-foot road setback, and 100-foot from residence.
100 feet.
Mm-hmm. South side was 100 feet, and the rear would be 100 feet as well.
Okay.
That's what I have written here on the request. Does that sound correct to you as well, Kim? Or are you not sure?
I don't have the details.
Okay. I don't, I'm not seeing the engineering in here, but that is what was requested.
Okay.
Does that answer any other questions?
Yeah, that's probably the thing that brings the question to our residents' mind, how
Right.
close is this new facility gonna be?
And we do have the specs up here for the zoning request, so if you two would like to come up and look at them, Trudy can show those to you. She's upstairs in the office and she has those so that you can actually see the whole
Okay.
scale and get
That would
the
be helpful.
dimensions and everything. So she's here from 8 to 4:30, Monday through Friday, as long as she doesn't take a day.
Where is she located?
You come right up the steps like you did today and go
Okay.
into her office, straight through the front door,
Okay,
or the door back here.
thank you, Kathy. Oh, I am the president of the association, so.
Gotcha.
I'm sort of serving two, one as a resident because I got the letter, but
Right.
the other as a representative.
So you're the liaison back and forth, right? Yeah, that would, actually, you're gonna get a lot of questions answered if you do come up and you look at the specs and you can see what they requested, where it's gonna be, how far off, all that stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, but like Kim said, as far as knowing when they're gonna start, digging, that's up to the economy to get the materials in and stuff, okay?
Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions? Okay, we'll need a motion to close the hearing then.
So moved. Second.
Motion to close this public hearing moved by Council President Chamberlain and seconded by Councilor Scott Stieretz. Is there any discussion? Council President Chamberlain?
Yes.
Councilor Scott Stieretz?
Yes.
Councilor Schneider?
Yes.
Councilor Griggs?
Yes.
Councilor Stickley?
Yes.
5 yeas, 0 nays, motion carries.
Thank you for coming in. I have no one else on the agenda for wishing to address council tonight, so we're gonna move on to committee reports. We have a personnel report to start us off.
Yeah, thanks, Mayor. Personnel met on March 9. It was a lunch meeting here in council chambers. Committee members present were myself, Councilman Schneider, and Councilman Scott Steers. We had quite an audience. Present with us was Tom McWaters, Jamie Jagir, Sarah Wheeler, Keith Torbett, Chief Sluter, Harold Stickley, and Andrea as our clerk. Job description updates and changes. If you remember right, we tabled a recommendation from the Personnel Committee meeting at our last council meeting. I had asked that it be tabled just out of some confusion as to whether or not that recommendation would cause increases in various compensation rates. Keith Torbett provided an explanation about the point factor analysis for the positions in the Public Works Department that would be changed when licensures are obtained by employees. Keith Torbett said he plans to give no pay increases at the time as a result of these proposed changes. We did have general discussion about these positions. I asked if the changes to the fire captain, the EMT position will require an increase in pay. Sarah Wheeler said the way that the employee falls now, they would not be required to be given an increase because they would still be within the new pay scale. But ultimately the pay decisions are at the discretion of the department head. It was described to us that department heads would make recommendations for proposed pay increases to the mayor, and then the mayor would have authority to grant those pay increases. There was general discussion about the position. I asked Tom McWaters about the proper procedure to remove the previous recommendation from the table. Tom McWaters said the recommendation was placed on the table by council and not by the committee, so unless there was changes to the recommendation, no further action from the committee would be needed. The committee moved on to the clerk of council job description. I did acknowledge a receipt of a memo authored by Tom McWaters outlining the options to address the clerk of council job description. There were 4 options outlined within that memo. I said that I was leaning toward option 4, which was keeping the clerk position as full-time and eliminating administrative duties or duties connected to the administration. I suggested that council needed to do a better job of making sure the clerk was given duties and taking advantage of her talents as the clerk. I commented if we were hiring a new person, it would be different, but our current clerk was hired full-time, and to take that away and make her lose full-time benefits would be inappropriate, and Councilor Schneider agreed. Atomic Waters explained the potential legal ramifications if this matter was not addressed. Sarah Wheeler said this matter is being addressed because during COVID, there was a lot of uncertainty with this employee as to who was the supervisor. President Chamberlain or myself thought maybe changing the position to 4 8-hour days to help reduce costs to the city. Keith Torbett said he thought moving the employee to 4 days a week is a stupid idea. He said he has no plans to make any changes to the position while he is here. I said that I was worried about something happening in the future where this position, this administrative support person, this position would be eliminated. Chief Saluter said he was backing up Keith Torbett 100%. He said a lot of this goes back to trust between council and the mayor. He said not a single department head wants to see Andrea Gherkin go anywhere. Sarah Wheeler said this matter has been handled bringing down employee morale. I said I was concerned the way the clerk was being treated, that didn't necessarily trust in the administration's handling of the clerk because it seems the clerk's position is a target for the administration. Sarah Wheeler said there is someone who works in the building without any disciplinary supervision. Councilor Scott Steert said he has seen President Chamberlain bend over backwards to try to get along with the mayor, and she would not have it, and Chief Sluter agreed. Atomic Waters pointed out if they decide to make it 2 part-time positions and the second one was eliminated, council would be able to then create a new job description making the position full-time. President or myself asked if there were any other comments or opinions. Councilor Stickley said he does not want to see the clerk lose any hours. There was a lot of discussion about the various options for this position. There was a motion at the end of the committee meeting, and there was a motion to create 2 part-time positions for the current clerk of council and assistant to the director of public service. This was motioned by Councilor Schneider and received a second from Councilor Scott Steers. Prior to voting, I did apologize to the clerk for the position she had been placed in throughout these meetings, and asked if she had any concerns at all to make sure to approach a committee member and make those concerns known prior to tonight. After making those comments, the recommendation was voted 3 yeas, 0 nays. Motion is before, the recommendation is before council tonight for a vote. So that is the committee meeting from March 9, Mayor.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I did ask our HR Sarah to come in if there was any questions from the council members who weren't at the meeting, so that if you had any questions, now's the time to ask them before you would go ahead with a vote for any uncertainties to what's all of the changes for all of the employees, anything to do with, I know Jeff is not here, but Pat, you were not here, and Harold, I don't know, Harold, you were here, were you not?
As a
So
outsider.
you listened,
I
okay.
did listen.
Pat, do you have any other questions? Anybody have any questions for Sarah before this vote?
Are we going with item 2? My question is item 2, I thought maybe it was item 3. Which one did you guys?
The way it reads in here that they're.
Number 3, option 3 is the recommendation before council tonight.
Why is it on here number 2?
No, that's item number 2 on the original list of all the things we went through the first time. We skipped the clerk of court, clerk of council position, which was item 2 on that sheet. But we decided on option 3 what Tom had presented. That was the 3. This 2 is the the clerk position that we skipped the first time. That's why it says two.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong. but
No, you're right, I think.
I just wanted to confirm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was confusing.
Okay.
Yeah, it'd be this, right here, like, that was the second one on the, that's
On
when
the
the two
agenda.
came on it. Yeah, that's where the two
Okay.
came on.
I see, so the blind man.
Yeah, it was confusing. I thought the same thing you did though, Harold, at first.
Okay.
I do have a couple things before you take it to a vote that have been put in this, opinions and accusations, and the one is the clerk being targeted, and I think the way I understand it, I was not at the meeting, so I'm gonna have to read what is stated in these minutes. I too apologize, Andrea, to have to bring anything up in a meeting that you are being discussed with. I do know that the administrative, Trudy was asked if you didn't want to attend these meetings, she would come in. One of them was when you were not here, and she offered to do that. And I thank you for coming back in and taking the minutes. So that's one thing. As far as targeting from the administration, I think that's a awful strong word. It's been being thrown around quite a bit lately. I agree with the administration that nobody wanted to see Andrea lose her job from this administration. I agree with Sarah when she stated we have a position that is very foggy, and nobody knew, including our clerk, that she didn't know who to answer, didn't know where to go. COVID was not just harsh on the clerk of council, it was harsh on a lot of employees who all of a sudden had changes. So it kind of made the perfect storm as to have to move forward and make recommendations on kind of cleaning this up. This isn't the first time. Shane and I are the oldest here on council that we've had clerk, situations come forward that had to be discussed. So that's the only thing that I really wanted to bring forward in behalf of the administration. Again, I didn't sit in the meeting, so I wasn't able to respond to some of these accusations. I guess we'll take it to have a motion to accept the personnel committee. Well, first of all, we gotta take it off the table, because they did table it. So we need a motion to take the original motion that the personnel committee brought forward and tabled it and take it off.
I would make a motion to take it off the table and bring it to council at this time.
I'll second that.
Motion to remove from the table the personnel committee recommendation to accept the recommended updates to the job descriptions presented, except for item number 2, the clerk of council administrative assistant to the director of public service, moved by Counselor Stickley and seconded by Counselor Griggs. Is there any discussion? Counselor Stickley?
Yes.
Counselor Griggs?
Yes.
Council President Chamberlain?
Yes.
Counselor Schneider?
Yes.
Counselor Scott Stewart?
Yes.
5 yeas, 0 nays, motion carries.
Now, we need a motion to accept the personnel committee meetings report from Tuesday, March 9th.
I'll make a motion.
With the exception of number 2, correct?
What?
Still, I mean,
Can we vote on what we just brought off the table?
That's what she's doing.
first bullet
That's what I'm
point.
doing, because you guys never did vote on we just tabled it. So now
No.
you're bringing back this,
No, you referenced
Motion.
March 9. March 9 we didn't table.
but we're moving on your minutes now, okay? 'Cause
Yeah,
you
but I'm
guys-
just wondering if we could just take the vote on what we just brought off the table.
We just-
It's bullet number 3 underneath the personnel committee.
Yeah,
Yeah, that wasn't from March 9.
There's
Bullet
two separate
number
motions.
3.
There's two separate motions. On the second page.
Oh,
is
the
one-
second page,
is the
okay.
one For the clerk's position. So what we're doing, what was brought
Moved by
off the
Counselor-
table was
No, what you're looking at there-
everything except the.
Mayor, what
clerk.
you're looking at there are from March 9.
Got it. but there is,
The second page of the agenda tonight,
so we've got them put together.
No.
So,
no.
well, your minutes for March 9th, okay, when was the meeting prior to? Where are those minutes? They're not on here.
Mm-mm.
Okay. That's what we brought off the table with the first personnel meeting minutes.
Right.
We brought them off the table.
Mhm.
So what you're stating is, what you're bringing forward from the personnel committee today is this.
No.
No, right here is what we did the first time, we tabled it, except for
Yes.
the clerk. That's the one we just brought off the table, and
Yes.
we're gonna vote on. Then, if you turn the page, the second page, that is
We
the
removed
new
the table, the
clerk.
personnel committee recommendation.
That's the new clerk
To accept.
one that he discussed.
Right.
So there's two separate ones to vote on.
Clerk of council, okay.
It's kind of written.
Motion to remove from the table, we did that.
Yes.
Yes.
Motion to accept the personnel committee recommendation to accept the recommended, that's what I thought I was doing.
No, when you reference March 9, you were talking about the first bullet on page 1 of our agenda.
All right, it's actually Tuesday, March 9th. I get what you're saying, okay.
That's on right.
Got it,
Sorry.
got it. We did the first part. We need a motion to accept the personnel committee recommendation to accept the recommended updates to the job descriptions presented, except item number 2, the clerk of council / administrative assistant to the director of public service, moved by.
So moved.
Second.
All right. Motion to accept the personnel committee recommendation to accept the recommended updates to the job descriptions presented, except item number 2, the clerk of council / administrative assistant to the director of public service, moved by Council President Chamberlain and seconded by Councilor Scott Starrett. Is there any discussion? Council President Chamberlain?
Yes.
Councilor Scott Starrett?
Yes.
Don't mess with me, oh my God.
Councilor Griggs?
Yes.
Councilor Stickley?
Yes.
Councilor Schneider?
Yes.
5 ayes, 0 nays, motion carries.
All right, thank you. Patrick, you're not so difficult, right? Tree commission?
No, we still have.
Still got one more motion there.
Which one now?
Bullet number 1
Back
underneath
up.
the personnel committee.
Did we do it back?
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The table? All right, this is just.
Now we're gonna accept March 9th's recommendation.
Mhm. Okay,
Sorry.
make a motion, please.
I'd make a motion to accept the personnel committee recommendation to create 2 part-time positions, the clerk of council and assistant to the director of public services.
Second.
All right. Motion to accept the personnel committee recommendation to create 2 part-time positions, the clerk of council and the assistant to the director of public service, moved by Council President Chamberlain and seconded by Councilor Scott Starrett.
Well,
Is there
yeah.
any discussion?
Yeah.
Council President Chamberlain?
Yes.
Councilor Scott Starrett?
Yes.
Councilor Stickley?
Yes.
Councilor Schneider?
Yes.
Councilor Griggs?
Yes.
5 yeas, 0 nays, motion carries.
Yeah, I'm figuring it out. Bullet 2 should have been bullet 1 to take it off the table, then.
This is the way Tom told me to do it.
Yeah,
Just so you know.
I'm talking to
Yeah,
him
Kevin thinks
about.
all
okay.
your insight.
Yeah.
It's
It's because he's not here,
That's
that's why he
right,
was just trying
Right,
to
I'm
mess.
just telling you what Tom told me to do.
You're just sitting there letting me just swim. Okay, so are we done with that one?
Yes.
Can we go to tree commission? Yes.
Yes.
Patrick.
All right. So Tuesday, or Wednesday, March 10th, we met here in council chambers. Everyone was here except Larry Fry and Dan Nelson. Andrea took minutes for us, called the meeting to orders at 8:02. Basically, the biggest discussion was the Arbor Day celebration. So April 30th tentatively is the Arbor Day celebration, and Rick was going to contact the principals to see if we can actually host an event. I have not heard back from that, so we do have one meeting in between, so I'll have an answer before then. And then the other topic was that they have some trees that came in to replace some stuff out at the homecoming park, and we're just hoping to plant those the morning of that event. So, but other than that, that was it. So again, we're just kind of waiting on word from Rick to know if we're gonna actually be able to have a celebration due to COVID.
I did get it.
Okay.
I got the recommendation and the documentation, or the
Okay.
declaration to go ahead with the 30th, so I'm really excited at both schools.
Okay, well, good.
So, that's good. It'd be
Some
nice to
insight
sit out
there.
there with those
All right.
kids. Huh?
We got insight there then. All right.
It just landed on my desk today,
Okay,
so
good.
it's a go forward for the 30th.
All right.
Excited to hear that. But there's nothing else really
Nope.
that needs to be moved on
No,
that.
ma'am. We're
Thank
good
you.
now.
All right, the only one I brought in was Sarah for any reports, with department heads, and nothing was brought forward after, committee of the whole, so let's move on to first reading of legislation. It's an ordinance 2021-4, an ordinance amending codified ordinance chapter 1117, established of districts and maps and amending the official zoning map. Get a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Something we
Yeah.
do every year. We have to
Second,
amend it.
yeah.
Motion to place ordinance 2021-4 on first reading moved by Counselor Griggs and seconded by Counselor Stickley. Is there any discussion?
No, it's just, you do this every year,
Yes.
just because some of the zoning, like,
Yep.
we'll have to do it for the, okay.
Yep, it's just something that has to be updated every year.
Counselor Griggs?
Yes.
Counselor Stickley?
Yes.
Counselor Schneider?
Yes.
Council President Chamberlain?
Yes.
Counselor Scott Stewart?
Yes.
5 ayes, 0 nays, motion carries.
Second reading, a resolution 2021-5 is a resolution approving the solid waste management plan update for the joint solid waste management district of Defiance, Fulton, Paulding, and Williams counties of Iowa.
I'll make a motion to accept that.
Second.
Motion to place resolution 2021-5 on second reading moved by Counselor Schneider and seconded by Counselor Stickley. Is there any discussion? Counselor Schneider?
Yes.
Counselor Stickley?
Yes.
Counselor Scott Stewart?
Yes.
Counselor Griggs?
Yes.
Council President Chamberlain?
Yes.
5 ayes, 0 nays, motion carries.
Okay, third reading. This one might be a little tricky since we don't have a full council. Let's see. An ordinance to amend Exit B of Section 929-933.02A1 of the codified ordinances to increase the water and sewer rates by 6% effective April 1st, 2021, and declare an emergency.
I'd make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion to place ordinance 2021-2 on emergency reading for the city's financial well-being.
Thank you.
Moved by Counselor Stickley and seconded by Counselor Schneider. Is there any discussion? Counselor Stickley?
Yes.
Counselor Schneider?
Yes.
Council President Chamberlain?
Yes.
Counselor Griggs?
Yes.
Counselor Scott Stewart?
Yes.
5 ayes, 0 nays, motion carries.
You're welcome.
Final reading.
Thank you.
Second of the final reading.
All right. Motion to place ordinance 2021-2 on final reading moved by Counselor Stickley and seconded by Council President Chamberlain. Is there any discussion? Counselor Stickley?
Yes.
Council President Chamberlain?
Yes.
Counselor Schneider?
Yes.
Counselor Scott Stewart?
Yes.
Counselor Griggs?
Yes.
5 ayes, 0 nays, motion carries.
Ordinance 2021-3 is an ordinance to amend codified ordinance 933B to increase the restoration fee after service is disconnected due to non-payment to $50 and to add a $100 restoration fee for a service restored during non-business hours.
I would make that motion.
I'll second it.
Motion to place ordinance 2021-3 on third reading moved by Counselor Stickley and seconded by Counselor Griggs. Is there any discussion? Counselor Stickley?
Yes.
Counselor Griggs?
Yes.
Counselor Scott Stewart?
Yes.
Council President Chamberlain?
Yes.
Counselor Schneider?
Yes.
5 ayes, 0 nays, motion carries.
Thank you. Resolution 2021-4, a resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with Cecina and Associates to serve as an advisor for debt offerings and other financings.
So moved.
Second.
Motion to place resolution 2021-4 on third reading moved by Counselor Schneider and seconded by Council President Chamberlain. Is there any discussion? Counselor Schneider?
Yes.
Council President Chamberlain?
Yes.
Counselor Griggs?
Yes.
Counselor Scott Stewart?
Yes.
Counselor Stickley?
Yes.
5 ayes, 0 nays, motion carries.
Okay, under new business, we need a motion to accept my appointment of Scott Stieretz to the INTV board. Are you guys meeting?
We do have one set for Wednesday,
Okay, great.
yeah, at 4:30.
I'm thinking about having my own show, so.
That'd be nice.
Everything Cubs.
Nice.
Can we get that motion?
I would make that motion, Mayor.
I'll second it.
Motion to accept the mayor's appointment of Scott Stieretz to the INTV board, moved by Counselor Stickley and seconded by Counselor Griggs. Is there any discussion? Counselor Stickley?
Yes.
Counselor Griggs?
Yes.
Counselor Schneider?
Yes.
Counselor Scott Stieretz?
Yes.
And Council President Chamberlain?
Yes.
5 yeas, 0 nays, motion carries.
Thank you on that. I think I dropped the ball when we did the appointment for Patrick, because it used to be Rick Fry's position. Then COVID hit, and it just kind of never came back until now, so.
Do you have a monthly meeting to get on?
Yeah, it's usually monthly.
Slip that one.
Yeah, you did. Okay, I have nothing on the agenda for old business. Anyone? Okay, can we get a motion to approve the bills?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion to approve and pay the bills as presented, moved by Counselor Schneider and seconded by Counselor Stickley. Is there any discussion? Counselor Schneider?
Yes.
Counselor Stickley?
Yes.
Council President Chamberlain?
Yes.
Counselor Griggs?
Yes.
Counselor Scott Stieretz?
Yes.
5 yeas, 0 nays, motion carries.
Have a motion for adjournment, please?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion to adjourn, moved by Counselor Stickley and seconded by Counselor Griggs. All in favor?
Yeah.
All opposed? Motion carries.